Baš tako. Baš tako. Tako je čudo za nas. Prije smo mi išli kao djeca, razumiješ? I onda je nas prošlo vrijeme, sad je opštvo. To je sad ono kako oni zovu, tada, to je ono, čudo.
The Untouchable True School Sports Empire proudly presents something the boxing game's missing. Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT, and I came here to talk some boxing with the thousands of True School Sports subscribers. Now, guys, once again, we are live in the flesh. It's good to be here. It's good to be seen. It's good to be just alive, honestly. So, hope everybody's doing well. This is, in fact, the aftermath of Abdullah Mason and Albert Bell. Great fight. You know, one of the best atmosphere I've ever experienced in my life as a boxing fan. And I've been all around this globe. I've been, all around America, coast to coast. I've been to Japan 3 times, been to Nicaragua. One of the best atmospheres ever that I've ever experienced on the 4th of July in Ohio. So shout out to the lovely people of Cleveland, Ohio, and Toledo, Ohio. They deserve it, and they deserve their appreciation for what they brought to the arena in terms of energy and the fighters, Abdullah Mason and Arab Bell. They put on a great fight for the fans. So I'm going to talk about all that, talk about what's next for Abdullah, kind of go through some of the things on the undercard, Tiger Johnson, Bruce Carrington, things like that. So, I'll be here for roughly 90 minutes to 2 hours because I got some time before I got to get back on the road. And I'm actually going to take the bus home, so that's going to be quite a journey. But, want to knock this out, talk to you guys, and say what's up. But look, while I'm here, guys, do me a favor. Smash that like button. Show your appreciation. If you're new to this channel, subscribe, super chat, all that blase. Because we're here. We're putting in that work. We're here on the road. New York City last week, Cleveland this week. It's going to be a couple of quiet weeks traveling wise, and then probably I would say we'll probably be in New York City for Hitchens in about 18 days. I'll probably be back in New York. I'll probably be in New York City 18 days from now for Hitchens, his fight, and then after that, I'll probably be going to the Zepeda Roach fight. So, we got a full plate, and we're definitely putting our best foot forward this year to give you guys the best coverage, the best interviews, the best lives, the best content, just the real raw best boxing content you can get on YouTube. So shout out to everybody here making anything special. Now, before I get into Mason and all that stuff, let me take some time to acknowledge the fine folks already here, making their presence felt, leaving comments. Listen, 13 people here, 2 likes. What's good, people? Come on. Hit the like button. Mother Prince, shout out to him. He says, salute to BT. He says, BT, Yugo Osaki is back on the 15th. I love the activity he's been getting as of late. Me too. You and me both. I'm happy for Yuga. That's probably my second favorite fighter in the whole sport of boxing. One of the most special fighters I've ever been around in any camp. He's a guy that I think isn't just going to be a world champion, but he's a guy that I think is going to be a 2, 3, potentially 4 division champion. And I think he's one of the best young fighters in the world. And I think he's the best young fighter from Japan. So really happy to just see him get active again. And I'm glad that he got all his stuff sorted out. So yeah, good to see that. Shout out to Reverse Leads. He said I didn't watch, but it looked like the A-sides won. Yup, run the likes up. Yup, do that. Do I think that Albert Bell deserves a rematch? I thought Albert Bell put up a great effort. I think he gave it his best, which is fine. There's no shame in losing it if you give it your best. But no, I don't, because I think after about round 6 or so, Albert Bell ran out of ideas. I thought he ran out of ideas. I thought he was really doing a lot of holding to try to get through the rounds. And so, no, I think he did well. I think he deserves some good fights, but I think Abdullah Mason should be afforded the opportunity to go pursue whatever it is he wants. I thought he put the exclamation point in the later rounds. He literally ran at Albert Bell and boom, So that's what it is. In a way, is salivating after that Shushu performance. Listen, man, I'll tell you this. if Inoue needed to watch that performance to celebrate over Shushu, then he just hasn't watched enough tape. I mean, I've been telling you guys, Bruce Carrington's a good fighter. He's done what I thought he would do in the pros, which is be a world champion. But all this talk about him being the best featherweight in the world and people just anointing him and saying that he's this and he's that. Like, nah, the jury remains out there. He's got some things he got to tighten up. Been telling you guys that for a while, and you've seen it against Palacios. And if Palacios would have started a little earlier, I think he would have beat Bruce Carrington. But he lost. Marla Prince says, so you know what we'll do? We'll start. Here's what we'll do, guys. This is what I want to do. We'll start from like the prelims on up, and then we'll work our way up. So I'm gonna start from like Scooter Davis and the other Mason brothers, and then I'm gonna work my way up because I didn't get a chance to really like make my videos on all these things. So hold on, let's work our way up. So we'll go from Ibrahim Abdurrahman, then we'll go Scooter Davis, then we'll go Tiger, then we'll go Bruce, and then we'll go main event and all that good stuff, right? So let's start with let me go to the card. Let's start with we'll say Ibrahim and Abdurrahman Mason, right? So they were both in 4 rounders, fights they were supposed to win. Abdurrahman fought a 1-0 guy, Alvaro Cabral, and Abdurrahman, he's big, he's rangy, throws a good 1-2 down the middle. He had some resistance in that fight. I mean, the fight was scored 40-36 on all those cards, but he was hurt, he was hit, he was buzzed a little bit, and he had to kind of grind it out. He got his first like real resistance as a pro, and even though on the box track it'll say like, oh, he won a 4-0 decision, it was a tough 4-0 decision where it was nervy. I thought he probably lost a round, but it was a 4-0 decision where you get viable experience, you face a little resistance, and you get the win. So the perfect experience at the stage of his career for him. But for me, Ibrahim Mason, I thought Ibrahim Mason was really impressive. And I've seen Ibrahim before. Like I'm familiar with the Mason Five because I'm cool with the family. In fact, I'm in the hotel right now. Abdullah Mason's over there with his family, at the desk. But I'm familiar with Ibrahim Mason. He's the youngest of the Mason Five. They came down to Miami like 4 years ago, so I had a chance to watch all of them train. I interviewed the whole family, the whole family, all the brothers while they were in Miami. And I just remember watching Ibrahim Mason hit the pads and just seeing how fast he was and his setups and things like that. And it looked like, some years have gone by since I last seen him, and he's physically more mature and he's just as fast as I last seen him, and his setups have even gotten better. And he didn't play with his food. Eric Hanley, 1 and 2 from the Bay Area. He didn't deserve to be in the ring with Ibrahim Mason, and he was treated as such. So I thought, to me, even before this fight, when I watched all the Mason Five train, apart from Abdullah, he was the guy whose style I liked the most was Ibrahim, and he's the youngest, so it only makes sense that he could probably be the second best, or maybe even one day the best, because he can take a little bit from all his brothers. He could take some of the things Abdullah does, some of the things that Adele does, some of the things that Abdurrahman does, some of the things that Amir does, and put it in a blender, put his own little flavor to it, and then he got his own unique fighting style. So watch out for him. He's really good. And they're all good, but I've always taken a liking to Dr. Ibrahim Mason. So yeah, they did a good job. As far as Scooter Davis, I thought really and truthfully was very disappointing, and this is coming from a guy that for months on end I've talked to top ranked matchmakers, not just one, but I'm talking about multiple top ranked matchmakers, and they've been ranting and raving about Scooter Davis. I also have a friend, my main man Joseph Maicero, who was Javante Davis's only sparring partner for the Lamont Roach fight. He was down there in DC. He's told me great things about Scooter Davis before. I've been hearing great things all around, and then I went and I watched him fight before this fight, and there was great highlights, and he talks well, and he's very marketable. He ticks a lot of boxes, but he had this fight against Carlos Ramos, from Spain, and I saw a lot of flaws. A lot of flaws. His weight was on that front foot a lot, so a lot of times he would fall in. And this guy Ramos had good timing, good experience, veteran. He was counter punching him out of the southpaw stance consistently, and really I thought he lost. Like I'm not gonna sugarcoat it to you guys. I thought he lost. I like Scooter Davis. I want to see him do well. He's hard. He's a hard guy to not want to root for. And but I don't think he won that fight. I think Ramos won that fight. I thought Ramos landed the better shots. I thought Ramos was more the ring general. I thought Ramos was just better. He was just better on the night. I thought he won like 5 rounds to 3. So Scooter Davis, he's very fortunate to get what they call, in the boxing community, he got the top rank special. He got preferential treatment because he was the A side, and they like him a lot. And Carlos Ramos is 18-4. He's from Spain, so you guys know the politics of all this. Like, they weren't going to give it to him unless he nailed him to the canvas. But we all seen it. That was Scooter Davis's version of Bruce Carrington versus Suleiman Tagawa. I feel like that was his Suleiman Tagawa fight. So it's not really about so much this fight, but it's what he does with it. Every fighter in history, any fighter you want to name, has had a fight like this, whether it be as champion, as prospect, as contender. They've all had a fight like this where they didn't look that great in a fight they were supposed to look great in, and you could say they got exposed, but they made the adjustments, they got better, and they became who they became. So I'm not using it as a death sentence for Scooter Davis, but there's a lot of things he better tighten up on, otherwise he's gonna lose and lose very soon. And I'll just leave it at that. I wish that young man nothing but the best. Hold on. Shout out to my man right here. He says, "Yo, BT, how you doing, champ? It looks like we got to talk about regarding that fight card last night." Oh, we do, and we talking about it. That's what this whole live is about. That's why I carved out 2 hours of my time to talk to you guys. 90 minutes to 2 hours of my time to talk to you guys before I gotta get on this Greyhound again, right? Um, yeah, but ask me whatever you want in the comments, and I'll get to it eventually. Um, Reverse Lee says, we've been seeing Carrington be a C level for a good minute now. Well, I don't know, man. Everybody tells me that Bruce Carrington is the best featherweight in the division, that he's special, and that Angelo Leo and Rafael Espinoza can't beat him. So, I mean, I hear different things. I think Bruce is a good fighter. I think he's a very flawed fighter. He's a good fighter. Top Rank has moved him perfectly. He became what I thought he was supposed to become, which is a world champion. I don't see him being a dominant world champion. I don't see him being like the. I don't like as the more his career has progressed. I've just seen him as a guy that will get a belt, have some fun, make a defense or two, and that'll be it for him. And really, if they would have called that knockdown last night, we might not be talking about a defense for Bruce Carrington. But anyway, Tiger Johnson. Let's talk some Tiger Johnson, because Tiger Johnson is a guy that I have been high on throughout the years. I thought that Tiger Johnson for many years was fighting in the wrong weight class. That's why he wasn't getting knockouts. That's why he wasn't looking his best in his fights. I think he found his home when he moved to 147. And I remember when he was supposed to fight Nicholas Flaus, a lot of people didn't think Tiger Johnson could beat Nicholas Flaus. And I picked Tiger Johnson to beat Nicholas Flaus. I was one of the few in boxing media that told y'all that, hey, even though Flaus is winning, the guy that fought at a higher level that's better is Tiger Johnson, and he proved that. So this was an interesting fight because he fought a guy, Christopher Guerrero, who, if we're honest, he had a paper thin resume. We don't really we didn't know much about him. He's from Canada, fighting on the Canada club circuit scene. This is his first fight outside of Canada, first fight in America. You're fighting a guy who has a higher pedigree than you. So the expectation was that Tiger Johnson was supposed to stop this guy, steamroll him, if you will. And he won the fight, and I don't think the fight was particularly close. You could even go as far as to say it might have been a shutout. But I still wanted to see Tiger get a stoppage. I thought this guy, but to Guerrero's credit, Guerrero was tough. Guerrero wore the shots very well. But Tiger, I thought, probably could have did a better job at setting traps and setting up his shots and not loading up so much. I thought he was loading up a lot in many spots of the fight. And that allowed Guerrero to get through some nervy moments. But nonetheless, Tiger Johnson goes and he gets another win, and he runs it up to 18-0. And, he's had like 3 different trainers in his last 3 fights. And he had Bomac, and then he had 2 other trainers before that. So if Bomac's going to be his trainer, like, he got to settle in on Bomac being his trainer. Don't go Bomac here for 2 fights. No, that's going to be your guy. Let that be your guy. And then give him time to impart some of his ideas and his philosophies and his coaching style upon what you bring to the table. You understand? So Tiger gets the win in a fight that was pretty routine for him. And to me, he's one of the more interesting welterweights right now because, obviously He made a big deal of it. We're all making a big deal of it anytime we talk about Tiger Johnson. The Devin Haney fight, because Devin Haney jumped him. Devin Haney's like hooligans and minions in New York City. They went and they jumped his ass. And as a man, forget boxing. Fuck boxing. As a man, if somebody jumps you, if somebody beats you down, and it's 5-on-1, and they don't shoot you the fair one, all right, you're gonna feel some type of way about it. So this is beyond just boxing. It's a real rivalry fight. And then when you get to the boxing itself, it's actually a very good fight boxing wise, because we know what Devin Haney brings to the table. We know what he possesses. We know his qualities as a fighter. One of the best jabbers in boxing, one of the best pure boxers in boxing. All those things, and a guy that just knows how to win. You may not like him. You may think he's boring. Whatever, how you feel, he knows how to win, right? Tiger Johnson can box as well, but he's more of like a real Midwest fighter. A lot of these Midwest fighters, they like knockouts. Think of the Kronk Gym. Think of, even a guy like Adrian Broner. Think of a guy like Julian Jackson. Think about just Midwest Abdullah Mason. These are guys that like to go for the knockouts, and he's like a Midwest type of fighter. That's why when he had Guerrero reeling a bit, he's putting 5 or 6 punches together. So I would love the fight. I don't really care about Devin Haney, to be honest with you. I don't care about seeing Devin Haney in a Rolly fight. I don't care about seeing Devin Haney against Liam Paro. I don't. I know those unification fights, but I don't care about those fights. Ryan Garcia, obviously, I'd like to see that fight. But I want to see Devin Haney versus Tiger Johnson. I think that's a fight that should happen. Will it happen? I don't think so. I don't think Tiger's a big enough name yet. We know Devin Haney is one of the few fighters that gets paid consistently above his actual market value, so he's not going to fight Tiger Johnson. But it's cool. It'd be cool to think about. In the meantime, I think Tiger should probably look to fight a guy like Rohan Polanco, in the top-ranked stable, undefeated guy. If not him, then of course Brian Norman Jr. and Tiger Johnson will be great, because Brian Norman Jr. is a former world champion. Brian Norman Jr. is a guy that fought Devin Haney, so if he's able to beat Brian Norman Jr. and do it in sensational fashion, maybe even stop Brian Norman Jr., which I don't think is out of the realm of possibility, because Brian Norman Jr. Is chinny. I like him. He's one of my favorite fighters, but he is chinny. If he can do that, then I think that would put him right there for the Devin Haney fight. So Tiger Johnson, I think, is in a great position. I just think for him, it's about continuing to evolve the more nuanced parts of his skill set, like the traps, the setups, those things, and just not loading up so much. So a good win for him, and yeah, the gravy train keeps rolling. Let me get to a couple comments. Shout out to my main man, Easy Got Hands. That is my main man, Eric Lanzis Jr., one of the most underrated 140 pounders in the world. Y'all will see one day. He says, "What it do, champ? How you living?" Eric Landis Jr. back in the, apparently from what I done seen on Instagram, Eric Landis Jr. back in the ring in South Florida. So I can't wait for the fight date. My man Hannibal says that Tiger Johnson is not ready for Devin Haney. He might not be, but you know what? My thing is, he got ranked. He's ranked. He's literally number 10 in the WBC or in the WBO, which Devin Haney holds. I'm sure with this win, he's probably going to be jump up a couple spots. So, I mean, and he got jumped. He got forget being ready. He got jumped. This is bigger than boxing. Like this is your pride as a man. Like you got to go get it back. You can't just be doing that to Tiger Johnson. He from the land of the heartless. He's from Cleveland. Now y'all want me to talk about the whole Shushu fight. So as far as Shushu, I mean, I'll raise my hand. I thought Palacios. I thought going in Palacios was going to beat Bruce Carrington, because I didn't think Bruce Carrington would be able to keep things as long as he did early in the fight, and I thought Palacios would get out to a faster start. Now that's not what happened. Bruce Carrington early in the fight, he kept the fight very long. He stayed very patient, even when there wasn't much stuff going on, and Palacios didn't really close the gap as early as I thought he would. But when he did close the gap, when he did, pin Bruce Carrington to those ropes, and he started sweeping that right hook around the guard, all upside his head, Bruce Carrington got dropped, and they should have called it. I thought they missed the call. It should have been a knockdown. He also had him hurt again in that fight, and was just teeing off with him to the point where you could have given him a 10-8 round you could have given Palacios a 10-8 round without a knockdown. So yeah, Bruce Carrington wins, and congrats to him. It's the first defense I know from being around Angelo Leo and being there for a first defense. I know how hard a first defense is for a fighter. So it's kind of one of those fights you just got to get through. However, the flaws that Bruce Carrington showed in this fight, they've been there. They don't been there since before this fight, and that's why I've been pushing back when you guys tell me certain things about Bruce. And I like Bruce, but some of y'all be getting carried away with where you think he's actually at right now, and he ain't there. And it was shown last night. So a good win. I personally think that because I don't think he actually beat Suleiman Sagawa. I don't count the Suleiman Sagawa fight. I thought he lost Suleiman Sagawa. Of the guys he's actually beaten, you know, I think Rene Palacios is the best fighter he's ever beat. I think that version of Palacios is better than the Carlos Castro Bruce Carrington fight. Even if Carlos Castro's fought at a higher level, because Carlos Castro in big fights, all he knows how to do is lose. So he did what he does best. He does well in fights. He gets guys hurt, and he finds a way to lose. So I knew Bruce would be Castro, but Palacios was a guy that Bruce had to, he had to grind. He had to grind his way through the last couple of rounds. He was undefeated. He was coming off of a win against Suleiman Sagawa. I would say it's the best win of his career, even though he didn't look great. But you're not gonna look great every fight. That's just boxing, right? So someone had asked me about open scoring. What did I think about the open scoring for Bruce Carrington and Palacios? I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like open scoring. I feel like when you're watching championship boxing, one of the elements of championship boxing is that suspense. Not quite knowing if the fight is close, not quite knowing, not knowing what the score is. That's what makes the decisions from a broadcast and presentation standpoint so visual. When you hear "and the new" or "and still," it's because the fights are close. There's drama, right? It was weird to be in the arena and have open scoring for one championship fight, but not have open scoring for the other championship fight. And it does, I think it does affect how the fighters fight. It might make one guy be more tentative, and it might make one guy more aggressive. So I don't like it, and I hope the WBC don't do that shit no more. I believe that the only reason that they did it for this fight is because open scoring is allowed in the state of Ohio, so it was in play for this fight. But yeah, I'm cool on open scoring. Leave that shit for the amateurs and the Olympics and things like that. This is the professionals. Now a lot of you guys are saying that Bruce Carrington isn't ready for the monster. Well, it doesn't matter. When you get a belt, listen. Let me tell y'all something. When you get a belt, I don't care about age or experience level. If you get a world title, there's no such thing as you're not ready. If you get a belt, you better be ready, or you gotta drop the belt. That just is what it is. So if Bruce Carrington wants to fight in a way and prove that he is what he believes he is, which is the best featherweight in the world, then it don't matter if he's ready. Ready or not, here I come. The open scoring segment during the Shushu fight was hilarious. All judges give it 79-73. Bruce Carrington, boo! They was all booing. And makes you wonder, like, if they would have called that knockdown, you know, it would have been if they would have called that knockdown on Bruce Carrington, and the referee would have if the referee was actually counting, and Bruce Carrington knew that, hey, I just lost a 10-8 round. Would that have affected how Bruce fought? Would these little things that matter in the championship level? And I thought he got dropped. So, yeah, he won the fight. I'm sure he'll go back to the gym with Kate Koroma and work on some things and get better. But I'm gonna tell y'all what I've always told you. I know y'all don't want to hear it. I know y'all don't want to hear it. You know what? I won't even tell you guys. But what I'll say is this: who do I always tell you guys is the best featherweight in the world? There's a particular guy that I always tell you guys is the best featherweight in the world, and I told you guys it's not Bruce Carrington. It's not. It's not. What's his name? It's not Angelo. It's not Rafael Espinoza. It's not Brent. So it's the guy with the IBF belt. The guy with the IBF belt is the most complete fighter in this division. He hits the hardest. He throws the most punches. He's the most well conditioned. He has the best footwork. He's the most durable. He's never been dropped. It's Angelo Leo. So I know Angelo hasn't fought, which is not his fault. But it's getting every time one of these guys fight someone, they show that they are not what they say they are and what the media says they are. So I'm gonna keep here. Angelo is number one at 126. Do not argue. Please don't. I'm gonna down that hill. Hey, listen, if Leo Chaos Espinoza, you can have a field day, BT. I'm gonna have a field day regardless. I mean, I remember when the Bernardo Lopez fight got signed, and a lot of people were saying that my friend was gonna go to the emergency room and be coughing up blood, and that didn't happen. He got put in the hospital. He was coughing up blood. They said he wouldn't make a defense because he's not that good. He's going to Japan. This, that, and the third. He went over to Japan. He beat a former world champion with his jab in his hometown. His first fight, So it's great. The media, Ring Magazine, the boxing, other boxing media, they popping up Shushu. They're popping up Espinoza. And I just keep telling you guys what it is. So God willing, hopefully here very soon in the third or fourth quarter of the year, he can get back in the ring and remind the world why he is the best featherweight in the world, because this whole year has been a shit show. But God has a plan. God has a plan, and God's steps are better than our steps, and we'll trust that. So, but yeah, Bruce Carrington is good. He's a champion. I never thought he would beat Naoya in a way. When I hear guys like Rick Glazer and even my boy Sean Tatel say that he'll beat Naoya in a way because of his long arms, I'm like, what are you guys watching? Have you watched the film? Do you really know what you're watching when you watch Bruce? Like, come on, man. Good, explosive counterpuncher. Hasn't learned how to use his long arms yet. Doesn't really have elite footwork. I mean, it's there to be seen. But they love Bruce the person, and they want him to be something that he isn't. He's a good fighter, champion, not what you think he is. Angelo Leo on versus Espinoza on TNT will be. Love that. Oh my God! Shout out to TNT, man. I think it's great to have that sort of level of production in boxing. That's what we need, and I would love that too. That would bring a tear to my eyes. I like Leo, but that Kameda fight was close. Lucky Japan is fair at the judging. It's funny. When I was there in person, I thought it was close because we were in Japan. But when I went back and I watched it, I don't think it was close. I thought Kameda won this many rounds. And if you want to be generous, I thought he won this many rounds. Kameda was trying to headbutt Angelo in that fight because he didn't want to get knocked the fuck out with the left hook like Bernardo. And an adjustment had to get made around round 3 or 4 to just box, and that's what we did. And he outpointed him. I thought Kameda exceeded expectations. Because like I said, that first defense is always hard. Bruce Carrington fought Castro, had a viral knockout. He didn't look good against Palacio, so people are going to shit on him. Angelo Leo, he had a viral knockout against Venado. He didn't look to that level in the Kameda fight, but he still won. He still put that jab on him, circle the ring, showed some great development in his style, and he won. But again, he got shitted on. But that's my thoughts. The people want Bruce Carrington to be a knockout artist. Well, the thing is, it's not that I think that they want Bruce Carrington to be a knockout artist. I think that Top Rank did such a great job of putting guys that he could knock out in front of him early in his career that's what people think he is. And they're finding out that he's not a knockout artist. But the thing is, he's not a knockout artist, but he's not really a upper echelon elite technical fighter. So if you're not a knockout artist and you're not an elite technical fighter, then what are you? You get caught in between two styles and you don't know who you are. So it's possible that Bruce Carrington is a world champion who, at the elite level of boxing, is having an identity crisis style-wise, and he's gonna have to figure all that out in some very tough circumstances. That's what I'm telling you guys. That's why that's why I'd rather take the hard road as a fighter because when you take the hard road and you come out the other side, you come with the tools that can answer every style. So again, another reason why the guy with the IBF belt was the best featherweight in the world. Shushu looked bad yesterday. I used to think he was a threat in the division. Man, he couldn't even beat an inexperienced Mexican yesterday. Well, I told you guys. I mean, I thought Palacios would actually beat him, but Palacios started off too slow. But I did tweet it out. I tweeted it out on Twitter. I said, if Bruce Carrington doesn't hurt Palacios in the first 5 rounds, this is going to be an incredibly difficult night for him. It's a tough first defense. And everyone was like, nah, BT, you don't know what you're talking about. Shushu's going to steamroll him. He's different. He's special. I'm like, no. He better hurt him in the first 5 rounds, or he's in trouble. And y'all saw what I was talking about. So we don't expect him to knock out the top guys in the division, but yesterday we expected like a knockout. But why? Like why did everybody expect a knockout? This guy that he fought Suleiman Tagawa. He fought Suleiman Tagawa. He performed better against Suleiman Tagawa than he did. He's never been knocked out. He's never lost. He throws a lot of punches. He has good angles. He has heavy hands. Why did people think that? I felt like Shushu hit the cruise control on Rene yesterday. If Palacios was more dangerous, I feel like Bruce would have hurt him and maybe stopped him. I don't think Bruce was ever within shouting distance of hurting him or stopping him. I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that. I think the fight kind of went because when the fight first got signed, I actually thought my initial prediction was Shushu versus Shushu by decision. But then I started watching tape on Palacios and I saw how downhill he can get on fighters and the angles he takes. And I was expecting him to start a little earlier. And he didn't do that. So I changed my pick to Palacios. But nonetheless, I knew it would be tough for Shushu. Leo is a true champion. We just need to see if he's the best champion. I agree with that. I'm with all that. I agree with you. We're definitely eager to prove that. Hopefully the business can get everything right. Because the fight, honestly, I want us to fight Bruce Carrington. In fact, I'll tell you guys this. I'll give y'all some inside information here. True School exclusive. I was having a conversation with my main man Miguel Leo, Angelo's dad, and I was telling him straight up. I said, "Look, man, forget the voluntary. All right, Nick, forget the voluntary. All right, because we want to get a voluntary because Angelo hasn't fought in like 13 months. It'll be 17 to 8. It'll be like 15 to 16 later in the year if he doesn't fight. He's like, let's get a voluntary. I told Miguel Leo, I said, look, man, I know we should get a voluntary, but forget all that. Let's go into this unification fight. We could beat Shushu. And Angelo could beat Shushu off a 16-month layoff. I really do believe that. My man Alan Powell said Shakur Stevenson tried to recruit Abdullah Mason so they won't fight. Yeah, he tried to get him to join the what they call it, the Avengers. You know, we'll see. Abdullah Mason said it years ago. I interviewed Abdullah Mason here on this channel in 2022, and he said a while ago. He said, "Look, sparring him was great, but there's no friends in the sport, and he got an appetite for the smoke." He even what's crazy is Abdullah Mason's 22 years old, so that means that when Albert Bell was ranked number 1 in the WBO and Shakur Stevenson was champion at 130, that means Abdullah Mason was probably like 17 or 16 years old. So the guy that was ranked number 1 to fight Shakur when Abdullah Mason was 17 or 16 years old, Abdullah Mason fought a guy Shakur was supposed to fight. He cleaned up his mess. I feel like this is the criticism that we've always given him. We expect him to KO certain dudes, and it just doesn't happen, even though he UDs them. Yeah, but like he's not a knockout artist. He's not a knockout artist, but he's not an elite like technical fighter either. So, Shushu needs to become, my opinion, he needs to become a volume puncher if he wants to have success in this division long term. Let your hands go. Become a volume puncher. Now, of course, that's dangerous because you might get clipped, and we can see Shushu don't got the greatest of chins, but that's why I feel like at the championship level he's gonna have to be at if he wants to beat the guys like Espinoza or even like an Angelo. I like in an interview I see on Mesa where they said, who would you train, be friends with, and fight? And he said, I'll fight all of them. Hell yeah. Because it's a sport. It's a sport. Like there's no friends in boxing. You can be friends after. Y'all can go box a nice hard 12 rounds, give each other some bruises, have a great fight, you know. And after you can go eat, go get a beer, go have fun, go watch a movie, go do all that. But for that time in the ring, no, you guys are not friends. He's not a knockout artist, but the KOs he has are impressive. He's a nuanced fighter. Yeah, but I mean the guys he knocked out. I mean, I would say probably the best guy he knocked out was Castro because Castro was he was actually a featherweight. He was an experienced guy, but he's been stopped before. And he's at the championship levels of boxing. Like, let's be real, he's a professional loser. He's never won when it's counted, and he's been winning some of those fights. So I mean, there's him, and then everybody else for the most part has been mostly undersized guys. So yeah, he scored big knockouts because they're guys that are smaller than him. I'm really upset. Like I talked to Bruce earlier this week about because I don't know what the truth is. To be honest with you, I don't know what the truth is when it comes to this particular subject. But Venado Lopez's manager said that Bruce Carrington had a chance to fight Venado, and he decided to go another direction. I don't. I didn't have a problem with him fighting Rene Palacios because Rene Palacios is a good fighter, undefeated, young. But I wish Bruce would have fought Venado Lopez. I like that fight. He's a former champion. You know him. Angelo Lee opponent. Why not fight Venado? I would have loved to see that fight because one thing about it is this. Venado wouldn't have started as slow as Palacios last night, I think. And if he would have caught Shushu, as not look, I didn't need last night to know that the Venado Lopez fight for Shushu would have been crazy. But for some reason, I mean, Venado got knocked out against Espinoza or against Angelo Leo. Espinoza had a chance to fight him. He fought K Guy. Bruce, from what was reported and from what's been told, he's had a chance to fight him. He fought Palacios, which isn't a bad fight. I mean, I'm not faulting him for the Palacios. Palacios is a good opponent for your first defense. But I would have liked to have seen the Venado fight, especially now looking at how Palacios was clubbing him upside the head in those middle rounds last night. It would have been very interesting to see how Bruce would have dealt with Venado Lopez. Because, like I always said, I wasn't no walkover fight for Bruce Carrington. Crazy? Venado Lopez is a tough fighter. Legitimate world champion. Yo, BT, I remember what you once said by the end of the year, Shushu, Espinoza, or Figueroa will lose their belt by the end of this year. Well, Shushu probably won't lose his belt by the end of the year because he actually made the weight very easily, by the way, so credit to him. And, they bailed him out. I think he got bailed out without that knockdown getting called. But he defended, so credit to him. Brandon, honestly, that might be wrong, and if it is wrong, it's going to be because Brandon Figueroa and Espinoza don't fight this year. What the hell is going on, Rafael Espinoza? Nobody knows. Bob Arum doesn't know. Carl Moretti doesn't know. Nobody knows what's going on with Rafa. I even commented on Rafa's Instagram post yesterday and asked him, I'm like, bro, do you want to fight Angelo Leo? Do you want to do something? Do you want to give the fans a great fight? He ain't respond. And he responds to my comments before, but he didn't want to respond to that one. So that's very telling. But then I go on Instagram and I see Rafael Espinoza's making Mexican, he's a recording artist now. He's making music now. So, I mean, he's already preparing for life after boxing. So, it's ridiculous. BT, are you still high on Mirko Cuello? Not quite as high as I was. I think he had that fight with that Mexican guy. I can't remember his name, but he had a tough fight on the undercard of Morel Benavidez. So for me, his stock has went down just a little bit, but I still think he's really good. I do think he is good. I think he'd be a good opponent for any of the champions. I'm not gonna say what it is because I don't like saying too many things about the featherweights because I don't know who's watching me, and I don't want everyone to know the playbook because between myself and Miguel Leo and Angelo Leo and the rest of the team, we study all these guys. We know all these guys really well in terms of what they do well and what they don't do well. But there's something about Mirko Cuello. I can't say what it is, but there's something about him that we know he has a terrible chin. Like, his durability is terrible. And it's going to cost him. Espinoza, let him sing. I'm not knocking him singing. I'm not knocking Espinoza singing. I like that he's singing. But he ain't fighting. He ain't fought since K Guy. And unlike Angelo, he has the promoters behind him. He has investment behind him. He's the A side of the whole division. So what's your excuse? Angelo got excuses. Angelo got Gary Jonas who don't want to invest into his career the way he needs to. He got the IBF ordering bullshit mandatories and then guys are missing weight. So he's got an excuse. What's your excuse? You the A side. Word is that Bruce Carrington versus Cristobal Llorente is likely next. That's a tricky one. Those Spanish boxers have a tricky style. I seen Ramos yesterday and Sandor Martin. As soon as Cristobal Llorente won that fight, I thought that was going to be an opponent for Bruce because, you know, light puncher. So Bruce durability, I don't think will be tested in that fight. But like you said, tricky guy. He's a mover. I'm gonna tell you this about Bruce. If you can move on Bruce, you have a chance to beat him. If you can move on Bruce and stick to a game plan, you have a chance. And he does that. That's his bread and butter. So we'll see if he can take the sharpness of the Bruce Carrington right hand and take that away from him. But if he can if he can do that and move, he has a chance. Number one, American social Japanese boxing and featherweight boxing. Yeah, for sure, 1,000%. The number one source for Japanese boxing in America, or how you say it, Cyrus, and the featherweight division for sure. My favorite weight class in boxing. Gerardo says, "Damn, bro, what happened to your arms? Right here? Talking about right here." He said, "What happened to your arm? Those are battle wounds." Well, it's healed up now, but like roughly 2 weeks ago, before I went on the road, at my house, I was going down the stairs one night, and I was carrying my sleeping bag because I wanted to go sleep on the couch. So I was carrying my sleeping bag, and it was dark. And I was half asleep. So I guess the sleeping bag got caught beneath my foot, and I my feet flailed in the air, and I fell down. I fell down the stairs and got like burned, like that happened from falling down the stairs. So that was 2 weeks ago, but it's actually almost healed up now. Hurt like it was crazy. Shushu's durability at 126 is shot both to the body and the head. It's become clear as barely making it out of his last two fights in a row against guys he's clearly better than. Yeah, I mean, Shushu's durability is not great. I mean, I've seen it in these fights. I'm not gonna tell y'all what I know, but I know about certain things that have happened to him in the gym and things like that. So I mean, I'm not I'm not surprised. I think he should go to 130. I definitely think he should go to 130 for sure. But there's bigger fights at 126. I think all the unifications and the potential Inoue fight are massive for him. And I think Inoue, if Inoue's team doesn't watch that fight, if they don't come to featherweight to fight Bruce Carrington, they should have been coming to featherweight to fight Bruce Carrington. I always thought that was a great matchup for Inoue. But if they're watching that fight and they're not making their travel arrangements to fight Bruce Carrington in New York City, then like Inoue just is scared of featherweight. Like that is what it is. That's a very winnable fight. Alec Powell says, I was not really a fan of Mason until yesterday. He fought a legit African American at a young age. I thought he was hyped like before. No, no, I mean, and thank you for joining the Abdullah Mason bandwagon. I've had my Abdullah Mason stock for years, and I got a lot of respect for how he goes about his business. He's no nonsense, blue collar, um, you know, has his fun in the ring, fun to watch, all that stuff, man. He's what young fighters in the sport should aspire to be, in my opinion. He's setting a great example for how a young fighter, a young talented fighter should move in boxing. Espinoza and Berlanga are finna win a great. Yeah, I'll tell you this: we're probably gonna get Espinoza to win a Latin American award or a Grammy before we get a unification fight, and we'll get Berlanga to probably win a Grammy or a Billboard award or chart on Billboard before he wins the Super Belt. You know, that's probably gonna happen. That's probably how it's gonna be. Do you think Inoue and Mr. Hashi will now consider a featherweight move after the recent Carrington performance? I mean, they shouldn't have had to have seen the. To answer your question, yes, but they shouldn't have had to have seen that performance to have the confidence to do that. Inoue is already great, and Bruce is not like he's good, but he's not to that level that he's being talked up as. So it's like, if it took Inoue's team that long to want to actually go to featherweight, then what that tells me is that they're not as smart as I think they are. They don't know as much boxing as we do at Team Leo, and we're gonna beat Inoue because they're not sharp enough. They should have been at featherweight to fight Bruce, or Nick Ball. He would have won. Team Inoue let the ball fly past them, so they shouldn't do it again. I agree. It's a chance to become a 5-division champion. Really put yourself in rarefied air as one of boxing's 6 or 7 5-division champions. My man right here says, how long and where are you staying roughly in London for the Atama fight? Well, first of all, I'm not going to give out my location anywhere I'm staying. I'll be in London. If you want to know where I'm staying, hit me up on Instagram and or Twitter, and I could tell you where I'm staying. But I'm not going to say that on YouTube. Do you know how many people don't like your boy BT for some reason? Do you know how many people, be plotting on me sometimes? Nah, man, I'm not going to say it on here. But I'll be in London. I'll get there during fight week. So the fight's the 29th. I'll be there somewhere a couple days before that. Already booked my flight. And how long I'll stay, I don't know yet. I have not booked my return flight home yet. So we'll have to play it by ear and see how that goes. But it'll be a great time. I'm looking forward to going to London and seeing the British fans and seeing my UK viewers and seeing some of my friends in the UK and seeing a great fight, Hrgovic, my boy, versus a Phenom and Moses. BT, you ain't got no ops. You'd be surprised, man. You'd be surprised. Espinoza pisses me off. It's clear as day he can take all these guys to school, but he's waiting for Inoue. You think it's clear as day he can take? No. First of all, it's not. Espinoza ain't like that. He's a good fighter. He's a good action fighter. Don't get caught up in the fact, he's 6 feet tall and he beat up a couple cans. No, we ain't impressed. We ain't impressed with Espinoza. If he was really like that, he's the A side of the division. Brandon Figueroa, I can understand why he's not getting fights. Angelo, I can understand why he's not getting fights. Bruce just got here. But Espinoza's been champion longer than anybody here, and he is the A side of this division. He is the guy that's going to bring in more people. He got the Mexican fan base behind him, all that stuff. There's no reason he should be inactive. And if he is inactive, it is because of him and his team. That's what it is. So, no, it's clear as day. If it was as clear as day, why is the best guy he fought Robeisy Ramirez? Why is the best guy he fought Robeisy? Robeisy is a good fighter. He's good, but he's overrated too. He's overrated. Robeisy Ramirez lost his pro debut to a can. He won the title against Dogboy, which is a good win. He defended it against Satoshi Shimizu, who's okay. He's a Japanese Olympian, but real, just robotic, textbook, southpaw, stiff Japanese style. He defended it against him on the Inoue Fulton undercard, and then he lost to Espinoza in a fight where he was a 10-1 favorite. That's Robeisy Ramirez's career. He gets too much credit for being a gold medalist. He's a good fighter, but I don't think Robeisy Ramirez is better than Angelo Leo. I don't think Robeisy Ramirez is better than Bernardo Lopez. I don't think Robeisy Ramirez is even better than Brandon Figueroa. And I don't even like Brandon Figueroa, but I don't think he's better than him in the pros. So I'm not really impressed with Rafa. I like him. I think he's good. I think he's entertaining, but jury's still out. You got dropped by Carlos Ornelas, a Mexican journeyman. I ain't trying to hear none of that about Espinoza. Damn, bro, who are your odds, BT? People in the fight game, they don't like me. There's people in the fight game that for some reason they don't like me. Espinoza is a true champion. We need to see if he's the best champion. I'm willing to see that. I'm ready to see that. He says, just make sure you don't bring a strap to the UK like Bomac. Nah, I won't do that, champ. I won't do that. Do I think Tiger Johnson is ready for Devin Haney? Why not? He jumped you. His people jumped you. If a man does something or his friends do something to you and they want to shoot you the fair one, who gives a damn if you're ready? You got to go get it back in blood. So ready or not, here I come. That's how I see it. But boxing wise, probably not. He hasn't fought nobody close to a Devin Haney level. His best opponent is Nicholas Flaus, who's nowhere close to Devin Haney. But he's 10 in the WBO. So he's in striking distance. BT is the #1 American source for Japanese boxing. Of course, you got. Oh my God! Don't get me started on that, champ. Don't get me started on the Japanese ops. I would say in Japan, I'm 99% loved, but that 1% that don't like me, it's the 1% that is the 1%, like the 1% of Japanese boxing. the tech and promotions people, they don't like me for some reason. Um, it is what it is. But everybody else love BT, so you know, and I love them. Even if they hate me, I still love them, so it don't matter. Boots still don't got a known African American on his resume. Mason already beat him on that. That is true. You know, I agree with that. You know, Albert, and in my opinion, I know people will say, well, BT Albert Bell's never, he's not that good. He never beat anybody, which is not even true either. But Albert Bell was a good fighter. Y'all saw him in the first 6 rounds. Why guys didn't want to fight Albert Bell? How long he was, how rangy, how disciplined he was with the jab in the right hand, the ability to step over. It's a good win. And to me, actually, it's a great win when you factor in that it's a week and a half notice. He fought him on a week and a half notice, and it's his first defense. So you take those two things and you put them together, and that's a hard night's work, you know. BT, do you have a relationship with Daisuke Segura? Yeah, it's my guy. Me and Daisuke have a great relationship. In fact, Daisuke recently did an interview with Angelo Leo after the Rai Salim fight, and he emailed me and contacted me on Instagram to get in touch with Angelo Foreman, and I set that up for him. So yeah, me and Daisuke. I mean, I've interviewed Daisuke on this channel like 2 or 3 times. Me and Daisuke, whenever I see him, press row or at these events, we always talk and have great conversations about Japanese boxing, Japan, baseball, all kinds of stuff. So great guy, in my opinion, in terms of the boxing media, easily top 5 guy. I'm talking about YouTubers and writers. He's top 5 for me. Sean Tatel, Radio Raheem, Daisuke. I'm not sure who's 4 or 5, but like those would be like my 3 of my 5 for sure. They said, best believe I would imagine the Overlord, Mr. Honda, sending out ops to the untouchable, and they would lose too. They would lose. He can send out whatever he wants. You can't stop God's plan. You can't play with God's chosen ones. You can't do that, champ. Can't do that. You know. So even Mr. Honda can't. Even Mr. Honda, in all his power, can't stop God's plan from covering Japanese boxing. I'm still gonna find a way, regardless. But listen, I got love for Mr. Honda. I would love to sit down and have a good conversation with him one day. Just get to know him and things like that. But he's not an easy guy to crack. Pause. Who do I think will win between Kid Austin and Abdullah Mason? That's a good fight. I think early on, Abdullah will have to be very, very smart and not get hurt because Kid Austin isn't going to come out fast. But I think Abdullah probably gets him in the middle rounds. Honestly, probably stops Kid in the middle rounds. Did I hate on any Tekken Promotions fighters? I never hated on Tekken Promotions fighters. I've only just ever said that they all train the same way and they all lose the same way. I mean, that's about it. But no, I mean, there's a guy that works. There's a guy that's Mr. Honda's right hand man that just is a very angry, miserable person, and he thinks he can intimidate people. And when he runs into somebody that he can't intimidate like me, then he has a problem with it, And he tries to intimidate me in Japan and America, and he couldn't do it. So, just this one guy that works for them. That's Mr. Honda's like right hand man. But yeah, kind of going back to Abdullah Mason, man, I'm really proud of him. I'm really proud of what he's doing for boxing. The 135 division is in a very intriguing place because you got the shadows of Javante Davis that are still looming large. Tank is the champion in recess. The WBA made him the champion in recess and all that stuff because they want to make sure that they can still get that 3%. I don't think Abdullah Mason versus Tank is a realistic fight. Just being honest, nothing tells me that fight is even close to being feasible. But Lucas Body and Kid Austin are supposed to fight for that title. So, I mean, I think Mason can fight the winner of that. Ram Murataya is a top-ranked in-house fight, but I just don't think the fight's big enough. Doesn't make enough financial sense for them to do it. So I don't think Top Rank does that fight anytime soon. And we don't even know if Ram Murataya will be champion. He should be Robinson Cassassau, but they fight the fights for a reason. And then who's the other one? What? Maybe the winner of Road Cepeda. Maybe the winner of Road Cepeda. That could be an option. Hold on, guys. Give me 1 second. yeah, maybe the winner of Roach Cepeda. That'd be a good one. I think Abdullah Mason versus either one of those guys would be exceptional. You know, but I don't know. It's been kind of hard. I was looking at the rankings and forget all that. I was looking at the rankings and the champions and all those kind of things, and I was having a hard time figuring out who I think Mason will fight. Yeah, it's your boy BT, Brendan Taylor, the untouchable True School Sports Empire. It is, in fact, the aftermath of Abdullah Mason and his fight with Albert Bell. Make sure you guys smash that like button if you haven't done so already. I'll be here for another 30 minutes, maybe an hour. And then I got to get up on out of here and get on this bus and go home. But yeah, hit the like button. Let me know what city, what state you're watching from. Definitely subscribe and definitely super chat. We're here. Um, Second fight week in as many weeks. You know, we were at Boots Xander last week, Mason Bell this week, and then it'll be a nice, cool, chilled out 18 days, and then the next fight I will be at, guys. Just to let you know in advance. The next fight I'll be at will be the Zuffa boxing card in New York. Hitchens versus Ricardo Salas, Edgar Berlanga versus Steven Butler. I'm gonna go to my first Zuffa event. I want to see what all this is about because you know a lot of people that I know in the boxing world are drinking the Zuffa boxing Kool-Aid, and I have my doubts. You know, I don't think Zuffa boxing is really doing anything revolutionary. Like they're saying they're shaking up boxing. Like how is Edgar Berlanga versus Steven Butler shaking up boxing? You know, they signed they just cut Erdeson Garcia after his fight, and I know it was boring, but like they cut fighters when they lose. They put on fights that are mismatches. I mean, what are they doing that's so different, you know? But anyway, I'm giving them a 15 show grace period after Zuffa Boxing 15, guys. So right now, I believe the next show will be Zuffa Boxing 10, and then I think, yeah, Hitchens' fight, and then that Etinosa Oliha and McKenna fight. Zuffa Boxing 10 and 11 are coming up. So when we get to 15, when at the conclusion of Zuffa Boxing 15, I'm gonna give you guys like my unfiltered, like all the way thoughts on Zuffa Boxing because you know I already have some strong opinions, but like I want to make sure we get more information, more data before I really flesh out everything. You know, I want to see more things play out. They're starting to do more shows in actual arenas now. So let's see how this goes for them. If you had to pick 8 guys from all different weight classes to be on one card, who would it be, BT? 8 guys from different weight classes. Oh, it's okay. Like, what do you mean? Like 8 guys that I want to see on a card? I would say Angelo Leo, Hugo Osaki, Dea Benavidez, Artur Beterbiev, T. Fulberton, um, Ken Shiro, Jaron Ennis, and Mosey Tama. I'm starting to lose interest on Shushu Carrington. What did you think of him last night? I mean, I'm actually surprised that he actually won the fight. I thought he won the fight like on paper, but I'm saying I thought he was gonna lose the fight to be honest with you to Palacios. I knew it was gonna be tough. I knew he was gonna struggle. He got hurt multiple times. You know, I I didn't think Bruce Carrington was the best featherweight in the division. And truth be told, I mean, I'm not even sure. I think he's the second best featherweight in the division. To be honest with you, I've seen a lot of flaws for a while. He did become what I thought he would be, which is a world champion. But as far as a dominant world champion and like a pound for pound talent, I didn't think that Bruce Carrington was that. But you know, we'll see. We'll see what kind of we'll see what kind of adjustments he makes. Yeah, Zuffa boxing is very corporate. It's very corporate. But again, they're still learning the boxing business. I mean, maybe let's give them the benefit of the doubt. maybe they'll make some adjustments and get better and tighten up on some things. But that's why I'm going. I want to go to the Hitchens fight because I want to get a feel for what a Zuffa show is like in person for myself. And I think just so you guys know, when I go to that Zuffa show, I'm not even gonna go as a I'm not even going as media because I can't go as media because they the process to apply for a Zuffa boxing show is so different than like Top Rank or PBC or Matchroom. You got to create an account on the UFC website, right? And you can't even get an account unless they approve you and allow you to have an account. Then if they allow you to have an account, then you can apply. So you actually gotta get approved twice to get credentials to a Zuffa boxing show. So that's a insider trading there for you guys from a media standpoint. My account didn't even get approved. They were like, nah, we're not having you here, True School. We're not having you here, BT. So it's all good. I'm actually excited to go watch a fight as a fan and not have to do media and just chill. I'll make fun of it. I'll make the best of it. I'll have a lot of fun with it. And who knows? Maybe we'll bring some. Maybe we'll bring a pretty woman to the fight with us. We'll see. We'll see what happens in New York. Whatever happens, happens. I got Shushu at 3, Espinoza, Leo. So he's saying Espinoza, Leo, Shushu, and Fig. After last night, I might even put him at 4. Now, you know what's crazy about featherweight? So my least favorite featherweight to watch is Brandon Figueroa. I hate his style. I think his style is ugly. I think it's terrible. I'm actually kind of upset that he became champion just because we have to talk about Brandon Figueroa. I'm being just blunt about it. But I actually think that I can't believe I'm saying this. I actually think that so my personal featherweight power rankings would be Angelo Leo number 1, Brandon Figueroa will be number 2 because he actually has a deeper resume in the division than Espinoza. Like he beat Mark Moxio, he beat Nick Ball to become champion. Like he has a really good resume at 126. Hate him or love him, he didn't win, but he fought Stephen Fulton. So he for respect to the resume, I'll say him number 2. And plus, he's a volume puncher too. Like, who's to say that he couldn't be Espinoza? He's a volume puncher. He's proven to be more durable in the pros. He hasn't been dropped like Espinoza has by Carlos Ornelas and been clipped and ready to go against Obesi. So I would say he's 2, even though I don't like him. Espinoza and Chushu, I'm not sure who's 3 or 4, but it's between those 2. They could be 3 or 4. BT, that's crazy. Yeah, of course they're not going to prove the real box media. I'm telling you, Dana White couldn't handle a question from Sean Tell. It's all propaganda over there. Yeah, I mean, listen, he has his business model he wants to run. It's America. He earned the right to do what he wants to do as a successful businessman. But it's corny, for a guy who's supposed to be so tough and macho and masculine and red-blooded American and all this stuff. Like it's kind of soft. But that's neither here nor there. Yeah, like Figueroa is terrible to watch. Like he gonna smother. He gonna do this. That's Fig- that's Figueroa. And that's probably even too. That's probably even too like sharp. I like but he has his style. He fights it, and you gotta be like really in shape for 12 rounds. That's what I'm saying. Even though I can't stand his style, I've given it some thought. Maybe Brandon Figueroa might be the second best featherweight because Bruce is very very flawed. Espinosa has no durability, and Top Rank has matched these guys in such a fashion where they've actually fooled the public into thinking it's the other way around, that those are the 2 best. And I actually think it's the other way. BT, I've noticed fighters forget 2 things a lot of times: jabs and going to the body. Why do you think that is? Well, when you get hit, your composure gets tested, and when you get hit, normally you want to trade, and when you want to trade, you want to throw hooks, you want to throw uppercuts, you want to throw things like that. So that's what it is. That's why it's like that. Um, Yeah, I think that's my experience too. From even my sparring experience, there'll be times where I'll be going in there, and I can box. I got a good jab. When I actually use my footwork, I'm not bad and I'm decent in there. But when I get hit, we got to have it out. So I think that's what it is. I think it's just a composure thing. Shout out to Cali Monk for the $2 super chat. I appreciate you, champ, and thank you. I promise you your money will not go in vain. But just thank you for all your hard work and dedication. And thank you for watching. Thank you guys for sitting here and listening to my ramblings about boxing. Hopefully these videos make your workday better, your life better, anything just better, you know? We're all here. We all love the sport of boxing. So yeah, it's been a very fun and long 2 weeks, you know, but fun weeks, you know, covering Jerron Ennis and Xander, now covering this fight with Mason versus Bell. And yeah, I'm looking forward to just enjoying a nice 2.5 weeks at home just before I gotta go out again. Cause then before you know it, it'll be the Hitchens fight week, then Zepeda versus Roach, then Angelo Lee will probably be in camp, so I'll probably have to spend some time with Angelo, then Hergovich Talma. So I mean, in the UK at that. So I mean, busy man. You know, definitely putting my best foot forward this year, like I never have before, to be the person and be the guy I know I can in this boxing space. So thank you guys for being along for the ride. And while I'm here, I mean, we got what time is it now? It's 3:16. So yeah, while I'm here, make use of me. Ask whatever you want. And it don't even gotta be boxing related. Y'all could ask me not a non-box related questions. You know, it's Sunday. I know everybody's chilling. I know everybody don't want to talk about boxing all the time. I know we got the World Cup going on, so I'm excited to go back home so I can finally watch the World Cup. I'm trying to watch the USA and all these games coming up. England's playing Mexico, I think, is that today or tomorrow. So Fig only lost to Fulton, and the first time Fulton was pound for pound. I agree. That's what I'm saying. So his resume is a lot of depth there. Fulton, I think he fought Magdaleno. He beat Mark Pasile, Nick Ball. He's proven. He's definitely proven. Here you go. You guys want to know the nitty gritty. Y'all want to know the Social Security. Y'all want to know all that stuff. He says, "Are you a full time analyst?" Yes, I am. I don't do anything else. I legit do not do anything else. Do they pay for? No, they don't, and I don't want them to. Like people ask me that question, like, "Oh, does top?" Like someone asked me the other day, "Does Top Rank pay for your hotels?" No, and you don't want them to. All right, you don't want them to because if Top Rank or the promoters are paying you as media to fly out, and you got an opinion about one of their fighters that they don't like, you buying the hand that feeds them, and they're gonna say, "Hey, man, I thought uh I thought we was cool. I thought we paid for your hotel. We got you a food card. We let you have souffle at the food court. We let you have filet mignon and flan and all this stuff. And you want to talk bad about Bruce Carrington? You ain't getting no more credentials." So I I don't ever want. I know there are people in the media who I won't out, but there are people in the media that do have that set up, and fair play to them. It gets them access. It gets them, the chance to rule their channels. But I just feel like I don't got to do that. I'm good enough on my own. God always provides for me, and I believe in my talent. So I know people are gonna watch me, and I know I'm gonna be okay. When your skills pay the bills, unlike Shakur, I believe his skills pay the bills. Um, Speaking of the World Cup, that shirt looks like Charlotte FC. You know we got a guy in the World Cup. Tim Ream. Yep, Tim Ream. He's like 38 years old, a defender. And yeah, this looks exactly like the Charlotte FC shirt. Shout out to Charlotte FC. And what was it? They got Wilfred Zaha and all that. So for sure. And yeah, the Team USA team, I'm very proud of what I've seen so far. I'm not as big into to football as I used to be. I used to watch like 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019, 2021. Like that stretch of time, I was watching a lot of Premier League. So one of my favorite teams in the Premier League was Tottenham, and my favorite team was Everton, but one of my favorite teams to watch was Tottenham because they had like Harry Kane, Heung-min Son, Christian Eriksen, Dele Ali. That was my team in FIFA too, like FIFA 17, FIFA 18. That was my team to play with, and so I like Pochettino. He's a great manager, and he's doing a great job with the USA. Straight up, he's doing an amazing job with the USA. They actually try to like play free flowing attacking football, and they don't just sit back and hope for a set piece and ask the goal to make 15 saves. So that's pretty cool. And yeah, I'm optimistic. The World Cup's on home soil. I think we can get to. I do think that we can get to the semifinals. So I'm rooting for Team USA. And yeah, shout out to them. BT, is the TNT deal a one show a month? I've heard the same thing. I've heard the same thing about the TNT deal. Um, I mean, I'm cool with that. If that's all they can give right now, I'm cool with that. I feel like the TNT fight should be reserved for like the best fighters because it's like from what I seen last night, the presentation was amazing. They brought like the TNT from the NBA presentation to boxing, which I love because the zone is trash. So hopefully, that can continue. Nice ring. I don't think it fits my style, but it's not. Appreciate you, champ. Thank you. Harry Kane is playing today versus Mexico. Yeah, Harry Kane is one of my favorite strikers. That's one of my favorite players in the world. But yeah, Japan got knocked out. I was going for Japan. That was my second team. They had a heartbreaking loss to Brazil. So that kind of sucked. But USA all the way. Who do you think Shakur should fight next that deserves it? Oshaki Foster. In my opinion, that's the only fight that should happen. If I was the commissioner of boxing, he'd be fighting Oshaki Foster next because that's what he promised. And I do believe in your word being your bond as a man. BT, what do you think of overscoring? I think it's terrible. Leave that shit for the Olympics. This is professional championship boxing. The World Cup final rematch will be Argentina versus the French. I mean, those are the two best teams. That doesn't necessarily mean that I'll be the World Cup final though. I made this joke because before the World Cup started, I don't know if I don't know if any of y'all played PlayStation 2 back in the day, but I was playing FIFA World Cup 2002 on my PlayStation 2, the first day of the World Cup, and I played with the USA on a quick little like World Cup mode, and I got to the final, and the team that was in the final was Argentina, and I beat Argentina. So USA beat Argentina in the World Cup in the video game. So I joked around and I put it on my Instagram. I said, "Look, guys, I got the script. The USA is gonna be Argentina in the World Cup final. So you know what? F it. It's probably not gonna happen, but who cares? I'm not betting on it. F it. USA. Lionel Messi is gonna lose to Christian Pulisic in the World Cup final. We say we won't overscoring, but when they do it without us asking, people hate it. I think if they're gonna do it, it needs to be for all championship fights, not just one, because it is a weird dynamic to have one world title fight on the card, have it, and then the main event doesn't have it. It's weird. Hyro says, and shout out to Hyro in the chat. He says these top ranked shows feel so limited. Now we're hearing PBC is going to the zone, which which they do that they don't do that many shows anyway. Yeah, and funny enough, Sam Watson was in town this week because I guess PBC made a deal to sign Albert Bell, and had he won, I had some conversations with some of the PBC people that were here, and I was told that had Albert Bell won last night, they were gonna try to do Albert Bell versus Tank. That was a thing that was being considered, But I hope that PBC deal is still in place for Albert Bell, and I hope that they can get him some fights and keep him busy because Albert Bell's a good dude, um, down to earth guy, stand up guy, real fighter, good boxer. I want to see him again. I don't think it should be a death sentence because he lost one fight. But y'all know how boxing is. Some guys are allowed to lose 10 fights and they can get opportunities. Some guys can lose one and they chuck them to the wayside. So that's just how the game goes. But doesn't make it right. Shout out to Chris Maya Jr. He says, "What's up, BT? Great fights last night. Um, Cleveland looked beautiful when they showed up before the Tiger fight. Yeah, Cleveland's awesome. I like Cleveland. People here are very, very friendly and hospitable. One of my best friends, an older gentleman who was one of my mentors. R.I.P. to my man Charlie. He passed away 3 years ago. He was from Cleveland and he lived down in South Florida. So I've always got along with Cleveland people. Sean Porter's a good friend of mine. I saw Sean Porter last night. Talked to him for like maybe 5 to 10 minutes about the fights. on the street because he was at one of the hotels that I walked by and I happened to see him. Cleveland people from Cleveland have been pretty cool in my experience. I feel confident against Belgium, but I think if we have to play, I think we'll have to play Portugal or Spain next. I'm not scared of Portugal. Portugal's whack. Portugal, Cristiano Ronaldo. I mean, he ain't what he used to be. They got Bruno Fernandes, who's a good attacking midfielder. I'm not really worried about them because I feel like the U.S. midfield could win um, could win that battle against their midfield. I like the USA midfield, especially when they put Weston McKennie in there. I'm not really worried about Portugal now. Spain's a different story because the defense of the U.S. can get stretched out. You can pass in between the channels or like a Tim Ream and them guys, and they're really good at that. So, um, yeah, Spain's a tougher one. Lamine Yamal coming off the wing, that'll cause a lot of problems more than likely. Um, but again, I think Pochettino has instilled like a delusional sense of belief in this team, and they're not scared of nobody. They're gonna go out there and play their hearts out, and it's on American soil. So because it's in America, I give them a bit more of a chance. Black Americans are not allowed to lose in boxing. That's definitely not true at all. Why do you say that? There's plenty of black fighters I can name you that have gotten opportunities with multiple losses. Tevin Farmer, Demetrius Ballard, Albert Bell's probably gonna get some more. I mean, I know it took him a while to get these, but I mean, he's a PBC now. Frank Martin got destroyed by Tank. Are you married? You're wearing a ring. No, I'm not married. This is just for fashion. I just like the ring, but no, I'm not married yet. I haven't. None of the women have acted right long enough to do that. So, maybe one day, but right now, until then, we're married to the game of boxing. Um, I wonder what's the least interesting weight class you watch in boxing, BT? Oh, Bridgerweight, for sure. Bridgerweight, and probably Bridgerweight and middleweight, I would say right now. But middleweight is terrible. One of the best fighters in the division is Amari Jones, and he's good, but like he shouldn't be fighting Vincenzo Gutierrez, and he's automatically a top like 5-3 fighter in the division. Like it's terrible. So Bridgerweight and middleweight for sure. Everything else, I'm pretty interested in. He said that the fan base is so fickle. Yeah, I mean I feel like most fan bases in boxing are I don't know. Yeah, I guess you're right. Did I see a did I see Hitchens versus Haney matchup, or is Hitchens not on the list? I don't think that's on their immediate to do list. I mean, not that they're ducking Hitchens, but like Hitchens, Devin Haney's like guy like Devin Haney has a lot of options. A lot of people want to fight Devin Haney. So Hitchens is not a guy that I think is on the list. He at least not immediately. I'm sure if he were to win a big fight or do a little more, I'm sure he would be, but just he isn't right now. He says, you never give a damn about cruiserweight besides the champions. You never watch contenders like Pat Brown. That's true. I haven't watched Pat Brown. I've heard a lot about Pat Brown. I've heard Pat Brown's really good. I know he's British, but you're right. I'll give you that one, Harold. Speaking of middleweight or close to middleweight, some people say Billy could be Canelo or Kevin because of the decline. What are your thoughts? Yeah, Canelo is not. Canelo Alvarez fights in spurts. Canelo Alvarez is old. I don't know if you've seen the William School fight. And then Billy doesn't stop throwing punches. So of course, I mean Canelo could counterpunch and do something with him there, but he's old. He's got a lot of wear and tear on the body. So yeah, of course it's very possible. Who do I have winning between Devin Haney and Keyshawn Davis? Devin Haney on points. But they gotta actually fight, man. I get tired of like honestly, guys, I get so tired of talking about Devin, Keyshawn, Tank, Shakur, Ryan, all those. Like I get tired. I get tired of talking about all these guys because it's just like they just talk so damn much. Like just make the fights happen. They talk way too much. Every day it's something. Like it's every day they want to yell and I got the better this morning. Like I don't who cares. Just get in the ring. Jesus Ramos will take over 160. And Jesus Ramos is a decent fighter, but like again, that if that was the case, I mean, if that's the case. That tells you like Jesus Ramos is not that upper echelon fighter. He's a good, solid little fighter, but he's not. 160 is terrible. Do I believe in Devin Haney now? Devin is Devin. He's a good fighter. You know, good boxer, knows how to win. I just think really it's not even so much about me believing in Devin. It's just more so I think Keyshawn Davis is a head case, and he's not mature enough to be the guy who's as consistent as Devin Haney. That's all it is. I think Keyshawn is more talented, but I think Devin Haney is more professional. That's why he's gonna win. You know, I'm indifferent towards Devin. Like I don't like I don't like nor hate Devin. He's just one of those fights. He's just there for me. Like he doesn't like Devin Haney doesn't do a whole lot for me. Like I don't get overly excited to watch Devin Haney fight, but I don't hate Devin Haney either. Like he's good though. He's good fighter. The only fight of his I cared about was his last one. Jesus Ramos is closer to a world title than Ian Green will ever be. I bet you he can't beat Ian Green. I bet you he'll get fucking knocked out. He will get knocked out the ring by Ian Green. Jesus Ramos is trash compared to Ian Green. I bet you Jesus Ramos wouldn't fight Ian Green. He would do what Elijah Garcia did. They would offer Ian Green a fight. Ian will say yes, and they'll say no, we don't want to fight Ian Green anymore. Same thing with like Beck Bully. Ian Green said yes. Commission was like no. Who is Ian Green? Ian Green's one of the best fighters at 168. He's the former number 3 ranked WBA contender. Really good fighter. Now because Ian Green ran out 160 and can't make the weight no more. Yeah. Will Xander ever get another belt? He has mid at best power 154. His boxing skills ain't good enough to see him get through. He's gonna win a world title in his next 2 fights easily. He's gonna go to 160 belt up there easily. I think Xander will beat Amari Jones in the pros. They fight just like he did in the amateurs. I mean, Xander, Xander, Xander is not a big puncher, but he had Jerron Ennis ready to freaking have a heart attack in the ring. Had him going crazy, but he won't stop Jerron Ennis. So I mean, maybe his power ain't at a certain level of other guys, but he ain't feather fisted. Ian Green, boxer ain't all impressive. I don't know. He's 32, right? He hasn't lost in 8 years. He was brought in to lose multiple times. Once against Tyler Howard, who was like 19-0 on the Michaela Maria Hamadouche undercard. Then he fought Alex Castro, who was a good fighter. He was the A side. Don King was pushing him. He got cut in the first round of that fight, and then he was able to grind it out after the cut, and he showed one of the best displays of heart and character I've ever seen. But then I've also seen Ian Green outbox dudes, so he's a really good fighter. It's just some fighters have a hard time getting the opportunity, and he's been one of them. And a lot of big names don't want to fight him. I'm not telling you what I think. I'm telling you what I know. Yohan Luis Hernandez, he's cool. I got to see more. Everybody's too quick to anoint Yohan Luis Hernandez. I don't like when people start anointing guys when they haven't done shit. So I got to see more from him. He's big, he's strong, but he's also Cuban, so that's not good. How does Haney have a lot of options if nobody want to put the money for him when he isn't signed and is begging on Twitter for a fight? Because a lot of fighters still want to fight him. See, those are two separate things. Fighters want to fight him, but promoters don't want to pay him the delusional amount of money he thinks he's worth. So that's the issue. How would I see Ian Green versus Hamza Shiraz at 168? That'd be a good fight. I think Ian Green can beat Hamza Shiraz. Hamza Shiraz is obviously a very hard puncher. I would say either A, Hamza would stop Ian Green late in that fight, or Hamza would get outboxed. And maybe he would get outboxed with a knockdown. Because Hamza, people, y'all trying to make Hamza this killer. And he's not. He's cool, though. Jesus will outbox Ian Green. No, he won't. He could barely beat Shane Mosley. I think it was somebody that mentioned Leo and Espinoza. He said those two are Shushu's biggest problems. He thought Leo can box and crack, and he can. Oh my God! When he fights again, I'm gonna tell you guys this: when he fights again, you guys are gonna be angry that boxing doesn't let him fight more. When he fights again, you guys are gonna be angry that the promoters and the politics don't allow him to fight 3 times a year, because the boxing fans are getting deprived of some really great performances. His speed and power is ridiculous. Not his speed, but his power is getting better, and his boxing skills are improving. Really more, not his power is what it is. At 126 is pretty good, but his boxing skills are what's really developing every camp. It's amazing. I think Hamza would destroy him. Hamza could not destroy. Man, I'm not sold on Hamza. If there's one guy at 168, I am not sold on it. Is Hamza Shiraz. I don't care if he knocked out Berlanga. I saw Adames fight, and he had other fights when he was a prospect where he didn't impress me. Since 2024, Ian only fought a dude that was 22, 26. He's getting stepped on right now. Styles make fights. He will beat Hamza Shiraz. They fight. But look, Hamza wouldn't fight. Listen, Hamza wouldn't fight him because number one, there's no reason to. He's not ranked. There's no reason to. But let like a Caleb Plant, or let like a Charlo, or let someone like that. Let one of those guys pick him as like let him pick Ian Green, like let a Caleb Plant or a Charlo, or like who else is 68, or even a Beck Malakuzia. Let one of them guys pick Ian Green and watch what happens to him. And we can bet whatever you want. They tried to throw him to the wolves against Adames. You think that's them throwing him to the wolves? No, they gave him an opportunity because he's an Arab to fight in an Arab country against a respectable fighter, and he got exposed because he's not like that. That's what happened. And then he fought Berlanga, right? A fight that people don't like to say give him two. People say Berlanga wasn't good, right? So it is what it is there. And then they gave him the worst world title challenger I've probably seen ever. One of the top 5 worst in his last fight, whoever that guy was. To be fair to Hamza, it was supposed to be Diego Pacheco. Pacheco ducked the fight, so it is what it is there. But he could have found someone better than that guy. Whoever the fuck that guy was. That guy was terrible. Yeah, I would love to see Pacheco versus Hamza though. Man, I can't wait, man. Hamza's gonna be in a fight one day against somebody at 68, and he's gonna lose, and you guys are gonna see he's not like that. He's a nice guy though. I mean, I like his story. He was like an electrician or some shit like that, and he was the electrician for some soccer player, and he said, one day I deserve a better life than this, and then he just started boxing and put all his commitment to boxing. And then he made something of himself. He made money. He's doing great. He's champion. I respect the story, but like, y'all be too quick to anoint these fighters. Y'all, a lot of y'all did it with Bruce. Y'all see what happened there, and Hamza's another one. I just have like what I'm starting to realize about myself. Any of these guys, that Ring Magazine is just pushing out everybody's throat. I'm just starting to get irritated by it because you guys understand when these fighters sign these Ring Magazine ambassador deals. Basically, part of the deal is that Ring Magazine is going to push out a bunch of propaganda on your behalf. So that's all boxing fans are going to see on the screen is Hamza, Bruce, who the fuck signed them, you know? You wild, BT. Hamza's cracking, and he's got a decent chin. Who has he fought? Who has he fought for us to know he has a decent chin? He fought. I mean, he fought Belanga. I'll give him that. I'll give you that one. He fought Belanga. Belanga can punch. That's not hate. Okay, he's got an okay chin. He's got a decent chin. I'll give you that one. But he's just not like that, bro. He's not like that. I watched the Adames fight. I watched when he was a prospect. I'm not sold yet. I need to see him against Billy or one of the top guys. Fulton versus Wilson. I think Wilson will beat Stephen Fulton. Probably. Stephen Fulton doesn't live the life of a fighter, and he's not serious anymore. He's completely unserious when it comes to boxing. So it wouldn't shock me, but at the same time, Liam Wilson, he hasn't exactly lit the world on fire either recently. So it's a good crossroads fight. I'm picking Nathaniel Collins to beat Bruce Carrington in the UK. I can't see Top Rank beating Queensberry. Well, I don't think Bruce is going to fight Nathaniel Collins. He'll probably fight the guy that beat Nathaniel Collins. Cristobal Llorente. But shout out to everybody here. It's your boy BT, Untouchable, True School Sports Empire, here live. Putting the bow on top of what's been a productive fight week, another productive fight week. I hope you guys have enjoyed the content. We're at 3:42 right now, so it's 3:42. I gotta go at 5 something. So I'm gonna stay live for like 10 to 15 minutes longer. So get your questions in, get your parting shots in. I think tomorrow on the channel. Tomorrow we're gonna have Rick Laser on the channel. So make sure y'all stay tuned for that. Rick Laser and I have already agreed to do something on Monday, so be on the lookout for it. Rick Laser. People love these Rick Laser interviews, so people keep saying, BT, get Rick on again. We want to hear what Rick thinks about this and that. So we're going to do that. I got another interview dropping too that I haven't posted yet. That'll drop tomorrow as well that I can't tell you guys about. And then I think Stacey McKinley should be coming on because I was talking to Stacey McKinley. He has a lot to say about boxing. I'm not sure if he's going to talk about Teofimo Lopez versus Shakur because when I was down in Florida, he said he couldn't talk about that, but now he's saying he kind of can, so I don't know what the hell he's going to do with that, but lot of good stuff coming up. I got Fulton against Wilson. He's at a big crossroads in his career, and he came through last time. Yeah, Stephen Fulton's one of them guys, though. You're right. He is one of those guys. When the chips are down and people don't think he can win, that's when he pulls his head out of his ass and actually trains. So we'll see. We'll see if he can continue that. Do you think you see a unification with Murataya and one of the other champions this year? No, I don't. The same ref as Usyk 3-1 as last night for the Mason tells you all you need to know about boxing politics. I actually met that guy. I forgot his name, but I met him because one of my there's this guy that I know. He's not in the media. He's not involved in boxing. He's just a boxing fan. There's this guy named Nick. Shout out to my guy Nick. This guy is just some finance guy from New York that goes to all these fights around the world. And I've seen Nick in Japan. I've seen him in San Antonio, New York, Cleveland, Norfolk, everywhere. I'll see him in the UK when I go to the Thomas Hergovich fight. And my boy Nick, he actually introduced me to that referee, and I talked to that ref for maybe 5 minutes. He was a cool guy. I think they Fury should have got stopped, but he just let it go on and on and on. Spence versus Tim. I don't really care about that fight. If I'm being honest with you, I'm gonna do my video about the fight. I'm gonna cover it here on True School Sports, but I don't really care about it. if Earl Spence wins, I mean, I'm actually gonna be upset about it because Fundora is gonna fight Earl Spence, and if Tim Tszyu wins, it's like, then who does Tim Tszyu fight? Do I know anything about AJ's next opponent? No, I don't, and I'm not making a video about that fight until probably after the fight concludes. I'm gonna treat that fight the same way I treated um, Usyk versus Rico Verhoeven. I don't care. Tell Nick that I'm looking for a new friend. Yeah, shout out to Nick, man. That's my guy. Hyro says, tell Eric Lanza Jr. to call me. I think him versus Marcito Hester might be a good fight. That would be a good fight. I think you're right. That'd be a hell of a fight. A boxing insider told me it's a very risky fight for AJ. We'll see. I'll be honest with you. I'm not. I can't be bothered enough about that fight to even do my research. I'll when AJ fights like someone like credible, then like someone a credible boxer, I'll pay attention. When is Angelo coming back? When God allows it to happen, I don't know, but things are being worked on as we speak. So hopefully, in the latter third quarter of this year. You're coming here to the UK for Itama versus Hergovich. Yeah, nice. Can't wait for that fight. Itama is one of my top three right now. People keep sleeping on his skill set and maturity beyond his years. Yeah, I'll be there. I like Moses. I think Moses will be great for a long time. But you know, if Moses don't hurt this boy early, it might be Phil Hergovich's time. I think Hergovich can win the fight if he doesn't get hurt early. That's my main thing is the speed, not getting exploited early. But if it gets to around 4 or 5 and Moses hasn't hurt Hergovich, it's gonna be a very difficult night for him, and he might get his heart snatched in front of all his friends and family. But if he destroys Hergovich, that's a big statement because nobody's destroyed Hergovich. And I think that at that point you can say, okay, now he's ready for a world title. Why isn't Eric been in the channel lately? Because I haven't been around Eric lately. Shushu needs to put on the brakes on any inner talks. Why? He's not supposed to want to make money and be great because he had a bad performance? You anointed Hergovich as one of the best heavyweights before he ever fought anybody. He beat Zhang. What are you talking about? Most of the guys that are getting dick rolled in the heavyweight division have not beat fighters as good as Phil Hergovich. I thought they should let Arabelle continue, but to be honest, I didn't have a problem with the stoppage because I thought after like round 6, Albert Bell ran out of ideas, was conning his way through the fight. So you conning your way through the fight, and then you getting blitzed and put on the canvas. I got a problem with it, to be honest with you. Like, you got to show some fight. Yeah. Mason and Bell were friends, and that didn't ruin anything. That didn't stop Little Mason from fulfilling his duties as the brave, noble warrior as he is. He fought his friend. He gave his friend an opportunity. He allowed his friend to fight on a big stage for the chance to become a world champion, make some money, and Abdullah proved to be the better man, and you gotta respect that in this day and age where guys are friends and brothers and all that happy horse shit. Why aren't you staying for the pop-up shop? Because I have to go home, and I really want to go home. Like, I'll come back to Ohio and visit the Mason family when they aren't fighting, and go. And I do want to go to the gym. I do want to visit the Mason Brothers boxing gym and go to some of the gyms in Ohio. Me and Pops have already talked about at some point this year going to Ohio gyms to get content and things like that, as well as Pennsylvania, so Philly and Pittsburgh, as well as also Washington D.C. in the Baltimore DMV area. So that's in the works as well. I want to definitely do some of that this year. But yeah, I know the whole Mason family very well, so I mean, it'd be cool to go, but I gotta get on the road. In fact, I actually gotta get out of here right now because it's 3:50 and my bus leaves at 5:30. So guys, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up. I want to say thank you to everybody who tuned in and supported all the content this week and even last week for Boots versus Eyes. I appreciate everybody. I'll be live tomorrow night with Rick Laser, so stay tuned for that. We'll get his thoughts on everything and yeah, keep supporting the channel. We're getting closer and closer to 100K, so I'm excited about that and a lot of great stuff coming up. And yeah, you guys take care. Have a great Sunday. I hope everybody had an exceptional 4th of July weekend. And yeah, I'm going to get up and out of here. So you guys take care. God bless. And I will see you on the next live.